morning, world. This is H. Lee and Silent Moon Coaching. Lessons from the farm, and today I want to talk about codependency versus interdependency. Now, codependency gets tricky. You can feel like you're getting sick when you're in a codependent cycle. It can be with anyone you love. It can be with a family member or a loved one, daughter, son, you name it. The list goes on. And what characterizes codependency is you start to feel like you don't have an identity anymore, and you start relying on the other person to make you happy, whereas interdependency is healthy. It is good for the community. It nurtures every party that's in the relationship. It brings out the best. It encourages individual talents, and also encourages for those special skills to be brought out in the community and honored and supported. So one makes you feel sick and the other one makes you feel well, you have a well-being. And the horses here, they're configuring some different patterns. And in a codependent relationship, your patterns start to be, you can pretty much determine where the cycle is gonna lead based on the pattern. And if you're getting more in awareness, you can kind of judge when those patterns are going to happen, because usually they're triggered by something else. And once you start waking up to your contribution to the world around you, you start to see the triggers. And what's really wonderful about that is that you can get help with your patterns and your triggers and things like that, but you have to be aware of them first. And in order to become part of interdependent configurations, see how they're changing. Now see how there's space before they were on top of each other. Let me show you that again. So we have codependent configuration. You can't really see the boundaries. There are no boundaries, and that is one huge thing about codependency, is you'll start to feel lost, like you don't have an identity. Your boundaries will be mixed, whereas in interdependency, you start to see boundaries. You start to see space is encouraged. It's also respected, whereas these guys, they all have their own space, they're all eating, nobody's bothering each other. But yeah, so I just wanted to point out those differences. I know that I've struggled with these kind of dynamics before in my own life, of being raised in generational curses of dysfunction and codependency, but also lucky enough to have other situations come by in experiences to show me what's healthy and what isn't. And then my personal wanting to rise above those old patterns and become a healthy person. Sometimes that's really challenging because we fall back into our old ways of thinking, but there is hope. You just gotta stay strong. So what I want you to reflect on today is, when those codependent configurations come into your life, how do you deal with them? What are some of your coping mechanisms? How do you identify them? What are your triggers? It's really important to know what your triggers are. So I want you to identify your triggers, and then really take a step back, which is really hard to do sometimes, but look from above, like you're a hawk looking down on the situation, and see how your triggers are contributing to your configurations and your relationships. So yeah, do you want to be in a box, or you want to be a triangle, or you want to be a circle? Interdependency is a circle. Codependency is a box, and it's very limiting. So just some reflections today. I'm H. Lee, Silent Moon Coaching, and these are lessons from the barn. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your day.